Hi everyone and welcome back to our Greece travel series. In this video, we are taking the ferry from Santorini to the beautiful island of Naxos, which is actually the largest island in the Cyclades. The ferry we took was the SeaJet's World Champion jet and it cost 59 euros and got us to Naxos. So we finally made it to Naxos and our room is pretty large here, so let me show you. Alright, so this is a private little sitting area and that's the hotel, the hotel's main building. And I didn't realize how big this place would be, so this is kind of our little living room. So they have some homemade strong alcohol, we've got a coffee machine, so couch, TV on this side, and then it really is an apartment. That's the bathroom, much bigger than what we had in Santorini, and this is the bedroom. Perfect. So after having another pork gyro and we got some alcohol for tonight, we are just walking by the water, by the Aegean Sea here in Naxos. We already saw quite a few cats, but it's so hot that I think they tend to hide. So for the rest of the afternoon, we simply walked around and explored the old town of Naxos. This island definitely felt really friendly and laid back, and we really enjoyed visiting the small shops even though the streets are like a maze. So we are trying to get to the the Naxos castle, and like I said earlier, this place has tons of cute cats that are trying to hide from the sun. And look at this beautiful calico cat. And not only do you have cute cats and the castle behind me, you also have olive trees all around and bougainvilleas, so this is quite scenic. We were told by some locals that we should check out Avaton 1739, which is now a restaurant, but it is located on the roof of an old monastery in Naxos, so we climbed all the way to the top. And I think I found the cat sanctuary. So we are now going to the port area because we want to see the sunset, and it's one of the most popular things to do here. But I think there's a cat behind me and there's one napping there. I love bougainvilleas. I don't know if you can hear me because it's really windy, but the waves are strong here. Then it was time to watch the sunset, and the best place to watch the sunset in Naxos is probably the Temple of Apollo. It's a great little spot that overlooks the main harbor in Naxos, and there's plenty of space to accommodate crowds. So that's a beautiful Naxos and a Blue Star ferry that's trying to dock. So behind me is the door of Apollo, and this is where we are going to watch the sunset. It's apparently the best spot to watch the sunset here in Naxos. And then after, we have a couple of places we can go to for dinner. Once the sun sets, the local cats know it's time to come out of their hiding spot and go for dinner. So you'll see a bunch of cats throughout the city, and they love to hang out around restaurants and dining tables. For dinner, we went to Apostolis because it was highly recommended by lots of people, and wow, that place did not disappoint us. Every single thing that we ate was really delicious, including the affordable wine, the amazing Greek salad with the best cheese, the zucchini croquettes, the roasted lamb, and the beautiful pancetta. Good morning from Naxos. It is almost 8 o'clock in the morning and we're just waiting for breakfast this morning. And so every morning at the hotel we have to pick our breakfast menu actually. So they give us a sheet and you have to check. Oh, it's a cat. Quite distracting. So there's a menu where you have to check off what you want. And so I think we picked Greek eggs and fresh yogurt and honey, local honey. So I'm quite excited to try out this breakfast. For our second day in Naxos, we really wanted to visit some mountain villages, so we took the local bus and off we went. I think the three most popular mountain villages are Halki, Philoti, and Apiranthos, and we decided to visit 2 out of 3. We're finally here in Halki after a 30-minute bus ride, and the distillery is not open yet, so we are going to reach St. George's Church, and it's really pretty here. We saw tons of olive trees, of course. I saw pomegranate trees, grapes, as well as pears and some citrus tree. Oh, there's grapes next to you. And those look like little citrus fruits there. You have a nice home. And that's a beautiful pear tree. Oh my goodness, more pears, more olive trees. These groves are so gorgeous. I have no words. And we heard a guy say actually that some of them are 800 years old. So this is St. George's Church, and of course more massive olive trees. So like I mentioned previously, there's a lot of fig trees here in Greece. So I don't know if you can see them, but some of them have already split open at the top, and this is what baby figs look like. So far, I have to say I really love Halki. it is so different than what we've seen so far in Santorini and even in Naxos. It's definitely a bit on the rural side, but I think this is a highlight on the island. So we are now going to the distillery. It's now mainly a museum that sells their products, but when you walk around, you can see the old ingredients that were used as well as the tools. So this distillery was established in 1896. It is managed by the same family and is known for producing a lemon liqueur called Citron, and this is apparently famous and distributed all over Greece. After a visit to Halki, it was time to visit Aperanthos, which is another mountainous village on the island of Naxos. So we're finally here in the village of Aperanthos. I don't know if you can hear me because it's so windy. It took about 20 minutes from Halki with the bus, and we're just gonna walk around now. And from what I read, I think Aperanthos is well known in Naxos because it is the most well-preserved village, mountain village here in Naxos. And apparently the architecture really hasn't changed since the Venetians came. And I don't know if you can see behind me, but like everything seems to be made of marble, from the path to some of the houses, and I think the churches too. Aperanthos is actually known for being the most picturesque village on the island. It is quite unique because a lot of its architecture has retained most of its Venetian elements, and you'll see plenty of small traditional houses made of stone, as well as narrow marble pathways. Oh, there's a castle up there? And of course, it was time for lunch, and we found this great little restaurant that had an amazing view over the valleys. The food tasted really fresh, including their amazing Greek salad, but my favorite part was actually their fresh lemon yogurt, and that was, I think, one of the best Greek yogurts I've ever had. For the rest of the afternoon, we simply walked around to help us digest all the good food we ate and took lots and lots of pictures of this beautiful village. Most of our evenings on this trip were quite similar actually. We watched the sunset as often as possible, and then we had to find a good place for dinner. So just before we go for dinner, we're going to watch the sunset again from a different vantage point. I don't know if you can hear me because it's very windy. For dinner that night, we had a really good meal at Oasis Restaurant where we ordered fried eggplant, anchovies, and some delicious fresh grilled squid.
Thank you.
So good morning from the Venetian castle of Naxos. We're here at the archaeological museum because it was closed 2 days ago. Unfortunately, we didn't know at the time, but the museum was going through some renovations, so all we had access to was the temporary exhibition. It was still really interesting to look at all the artifacts that they have dug up over the years and the Cyclades. It's definitely worth a tour if you're in the area. So after getting lost in the streets of Naxos, we are making our way to Groda Beach. I'm not going to film much because it's so windy and I don't think you'll be able to hear anything. But this is one of the main churches in the city. After going to Groda Beach, we wanted to check out another beach, but then it was time for lunch. We went to Maros Taverna, which was really delicious and so affordable at the same time. I love how restaurants in Greece tell you if their produce is frozen or fresh, and we had one of the best fresh octopus dishes as well as fried calamari. So after an outstanding lunch at Maros Taverna, we're here at St. George's Beach because that's the closest one to the old town, and this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see in the distance, but some people are actually kite surfing, so this is apparently a nice spot to do this. For the last sunset in Naxos, we wanted to go back to the Temple of Apollo to watch the sunset. However, as you can see, it was very windy and very uncomfortable, so we ended up going back down where the hill would shelter us from the wind, and the sunset was as good as up there. It was time for our last sit-down meal in Naxos, and we picked Ducato. Their fig and pomegranate salad was such a highlight for me. The figs, the pomegranate, the balsamic vinegar, and the walnuts were so delicious. And of course, when in Greece, you have to order lamb chops and the local fresh fish of the day. So this marked the end of our stay in Naxos, and the following day, we were off to the popular island of Mykonos.